Hello folks! Well, as I've said many times at previous adventures, America is a place full of these isolated communities in the middle of nowhere. Could there be a very culturally rich group of people at any turn? We've seen it in New Harmony, we've seen it with the Shakers in New England, we have seen it with New Vrindavan. All over the country there are people who can live isolated. Maybe historically and today in the modern day they can't, but the idea goes that America is full of interesting stories of cultural heritage. And I want to invite you today to another example of this. We see ourselves in the middle of this cute little village. Yesterday we were in central Iowa and we saw the big city of Des Moines, but we're going the complete opposite direction here in eastern Iowa, where it resembles the rolling hills and bluffs of Wisconsin and Illinois more than the rest of flat farm Iowa. And in eastern Iowa lies quite the cultural gem here today. I'm very excited to share with you all the story of the Amana Colonies. A total of 7 villages dot the map in a 30 square mile radius area. Each one is home to maybe, well, like 50 people up to 500 people. They're all very, very small villages, but they hold immense historical significance, not only to Iowa, but to the whole country. These are the Amana Colonies. To make things simple for us, I just figured, why not just only visit Amana? Now there's High Amana, East Amana, South Amana, all sorts of Amanas here. But the main Amana village is the village most people go to. It's the most recognized, it's the largest, with all these shops, eateries, sometimes even celebrations that take place in this area. Now I bought some goodies in a bag from the traditional smokehouse of this particular village. And while I'm trying to find a table somewhere in the distance, hopefully I find one to sit and enjoy these, I'll tell you the story about the people of the Amana Colonies. Now this is the tale of a religious group who overcame persecution, moved to America, settled, became their own isolated community based on a communal and spiritual lifestyle, and ultimately thrives to this day, retaining long-held cultural heritage and traditions in an era today where a lot of these communities are dying out. In the 1700s, a religious sect broke off from the Lutheran Church. The Lutheran Church had a stronghold in a lot of Northern Europe, in particular the once kingdom of Hesse in today's West Central Germany. So these German-speaking people, they were pietists, and their big philosophy was that God would give them inspiration, that God would allow them the gift to speak and to serve others and to commit righteous acts. However, this didn't really agree with the Lutheran Church and the kingdom of Hesse. So they were persecuted, and these people then decided to escape Europe, go to America. They settled in an area near Buffalo, New York, but they felt like they weren't isolated enough. They wanted to form their own isolated community where they could be free to worship how they please, away from society, to make their own utopia. Is this the crosswalk? It's pretty simple. No flashy colors or markers indicating so other than this little wooden bridge, a different stone. I kinda like it. Pretty nice. In 1855, led by their leader, Christian Metz, they sought out a nice piece of Iowa land towards the east of the state. They figured, hey, it's got all the resources we need to build our utopian society. Let's go for it. So over the next few generations, they settled many different villages like Amana, all throughout this area, and passing down generation after generation their traditional work style, whether it was their craftsmanship or the way they prepared food like the meats and cheeses. The people of Amana learned to prosper on their own, away from American society. They really only had contact through a lot of their farm goods that were traded to other towns and villages. Ah, there we go, a nice bench. I'm impressed. This little village looks so quaint, peaceful. I mean, aside from all the vehicles, it's quite a utopia, just as the Amana people envisioned. Okay, it's time for a quick snack break. You saw we went to the meat shop and smokehouse, and what I got was a Pfefferwurst, pepper sausage. Yes, the Germans are really great with their Wurst and sausage and all that good meat product stuff. Let's see how this bad boy tastes. What can I say? It tastes like a sausage, but with a little bit of that pepper spice. It's pretty good. Here's to the Amana Colonies, hidden away in Iowa. Well, of course, you cannot have your cute little German village without a Bierhalle, beer hall, a good old place to drink up and enjoy yourself with some nice German beer. So just as of today, there's less and less people who do speak German in this village.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame.
And they speak a colony Deutsch, which is an older version, German.
Well, I'm wondering, is there a reason that people are just speaking German less and less in this area?
Because they were surrounded by English, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, our daughters both went to school here. They both did their 4 years of German. Excuse me, they do talk German with their dad once in a while, but yeah, yeah.
So it's just hard to sustain it. I see.
Yeah.
This is the one and only Amana Colony. So these 7 villages, I think it's more of an adaptation that everything around was English, so they learned to speak English. I mean, they've had a school here for a lot of years, and it taught sort of German to the younger kids, but not conversational to use it. So
yeah. Well, is there anything one should know when visiting Amana? Just as anything culturally significant? Or?
Well, they came here in 1855 and lived as a communal type of life until 1932.
Oh.
And then the Depression hit.
Right.
They had a big grain mill that burned, and they didn't have insurance for it, so they were in some financial difficulties, and they decided to vote as a whole in 1932 to start a corporation. And then everybody who had been a part of the society before that became stockholders. So, and then it's just kind of been German heritage since then, but they've never been afraid to grow or tackle new things or anything like that.
Oh, so in contrast to the Amish, who are sort of averse to technology,
Yes.
they embrace
They
it?
embrace technology.
I see.
Yeah, there's a story that shortly after Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone,
Yeah.
somebody here read about it and wrote to him. And he sent him enough parts that he built a telephone between the general store, the doctor, and the pharmacy.
Wow.
So we at least had communication with. And I've seen some of the phones that particular person built. I mean, they're just like an Alexander Graham Bell phone.
Right,
You
right.
wouldn't know the difference. But there's very talented people here, woodworkers, and I mean, they did a lot of different things.
Would you say that
So-
the craftsmanship and the traditions in various shops like furniture stores or smokehouses have been retained?
To a degree, it's slowly slipping away. More and more younger people have found jobs outside. The job they were looking for. I mean, we have good examples. We have a gal that's an oceanographer. We really can't do that in the middle of Iowa.
Right, yeah.
But she's on the Great Lakes, and that worked fine for her.
I see.
But she had to leave in order to do that.
So it's hard to sustain a community that's insulated or...
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
And I'm speaking as an outsider. I've lived here for 38 years, but I'm not a part of the
I see.
original German. My name is so English it isn't funny. So,
Yeah.
but it's just things that you notice and see.
Right.
I was saying when I first got here, when I talked about the Colony Deutsch, they, especially at the post office, the older people would, rattle on German, blah, 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 and all of a sudden, jet airplane or television set or something like that would come out because they had no German word for it because the German hadn't evolved.
So they adopted English loan words.
Right. In Germany, they had their German words for that, but not here because they didn't have the interaction.
Oh, okay.
So they can still speak German, but it's kind of a bastardized German.
Oh, okay. I see.
That's why they call it the Colony Deutsch. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's
a little bit
few
different.
difference, a little
Yeah.
bit different, yeah.
The people of Amana are way different than the people you might be thinking of. The Amish, the other big German groups scattered across the country. The Amish broke off from an Anabaptist sect. The Amana people, however, they broke off from a Lutheran sect. The Amana people were never Amish. Yes, they came from the same general area of Europe, but they are in no way related as a cultural group. Well, there goes our day here in Amana, Iowa. The Amana Colonies are a great place to learn about the traditional groups, one of many here in the Midwest. Even today, we see the spirit of the Amana people carried on, as still, even though the Amana have transformed from a very isolated and communal society to, well, more of a modern society, I guess, they still hold to their core the values of hard work and independent-minded activity. You can see mills and, well, I'm not sure exactly what these buildings are, but you can see these are places for work. The Amana people are very work-driven, and you can see that anywhere from the general shops to the outskirts of these villages, where you see the dirty work of collecting lumber or creating different things. You can hear the sound of heavy machinery going on as we speak, a testament to the spirit of the Amana people. Oh, this is amazing. Was this an old train station? Looks to have that same train station shape with the name Amana written on it. Oh yes, this was definitely a rail yard. And it's the perfect place to end off our adventure today. Iowa has been a great state to us. It has provided us with... That's a lot of sound. The state of Iowa has provided us with a great lens into life here in the middle of the country. From big city Des Moines to little village Amana. It's also along these railroad tracks near the train depot of Amana that we say goodbye to the state of Iowa for now. Yes, there's plenty of places in Iowa I would love to visit. I want to stay in this state much longer. Get it? Iowa? We're in Iowa? Yeah? Whatever. We have one more state to go on this trip. Can you believe it? We have gone to, well, I can't even count in one sitting how many states we've been to on this one trip. In a matter of 2.5 months, we were almost done. The end is so close. We have one more state, and I'll leave it off at that. So, walking just outside of Amana, one of the 7 Amana colonies of Iowa. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.